Are you struggling to keep your remote team productive and engaged? You're not alone. This is a common challenge. That's why this video is the advanced guide to creating high-performing teams remotely to succeed as an international leader through 6 killer strategies. Let's begin by thinking together about how we got here to this remote world era. For centuries, we have evolved to work side by side to meet our goals, from creating cave homes to building paths to connect cities. One of our advantages as a species is that we collaborate and use our ideas to achieve new discoveries together. We know how to read people's moods by the way they move and present themselves, their gestures, their body language, and facial expressions. Today, we are evolving again to work remotely. Global teams, different time zones, different cultures, and a lot of distance between us. Thanks to technology, we are blessed to live in such a remarkable time, a new disruption in the way we work. But how do we solve our evolution of working side by side with today's remote possibilities? Hi, I am Ruth Valverde, and I have been leading high-performing, highly productive remote global teams for the last 5 years, and I absolutely love it. But there are many challenges along the way that I will show you how to overcome during this video. When you have a hybrid or fully on-site operation, you have to deal with office drama and gossip, eternal viruses circulating in the office AC, way less flexibility to do your personal stuff, and working remotely is not perfect either. It's way better for some, myself included, and not that great for others. And this leads me to the first strategy for having high-performing remote teams. You must hire properly for remote-first teams. Remote work is not for everyone. Some people need face-to-face human interaction to thrive, and that's something you must assess properly by asking the right questions during the interview. Let's imagine this is an interview setting, and I ask you, what are the things you value the most in a workplace? If you say to me, the interaction I have with other people, or learning from them and getting new friends, this could be a red flag, and we need to explore further. Yes, we can create nice remote friendships, but if this person craves face-to-face social interactions with coworkers, they probably won't be a fit because they will look for that opportunity somewhere else. Other questions could be, have you worked remotely before? And how do you organize yourself with the flexibility you gain from remote jobs? With these questions, we don't want to cut from the process people who have not worked remotely before. Actually, people who have never worked remotely can become high performers because they feel so grateful to have landed a job that allows them to maximize their most valuable resource, time. But the red flags would be people who show in their examples that they are bad at organizing themselves, people who need too much guidance and support from others to deliver high-quality results. Not every job can be done remotely. Besides the obvious ones like doctors or plant engineers, if your team's operation is highly complex and you have a junior team, remote work can be a recipe for tons of stress for you as a manager while you train your team. Other question could be, rank the resources you value the most: time, fun, social interactions, money, support from others, goods, and tell me why you rank them that way. If the candidate value time first or second, they will probably be a great fit for working remotely. This amazing flexible work style will save them so much time to repurpose in their quality of life. If the person you're interviewing values time, you will get a grateful, dedicated employee. Obviously, you have to ask their technical skills as well. It is not just about the remote adaptability. The second strategy is repetitive and intentional communications in meetings, emails, minutes, and then repeat again in other meetings. Remotely or not, as a leader, you have to repeat your key messages all the time. It is your job to ensure people understand what is the most important task they have and what you need them to focus on. They are busy with multiple requests and distractions. Repetition is key. But in remote environments, you have to be truly intentional with your messaging. You no longer have in between meeting conversations. Now you have to really prepare, think, and plan when and how and where will you reinforce the message you need them to receive and understand. The third strategy is cutting meetings by half or reducing your meetings by half. Embrace asynchronous communication. This is a way to communicate that is not done at the same time. Examples of this type of communication are emails, dashboards, trackers, or recordings you can watch later. Learn to communicate without having the people in the room. Adopt asynchronous communication as a second nature. To succeed working and leading remotely, you need to evolve. You won't have people next to you anymore to tell them every thought that comes to mind. And you cannot set 30 minutes every time you want to discuss something. The biggest issues global remote teams have is the atrocious amount of meetings they have. The result, either work is not done because your people is going to all these meetings, or your people burns out and collapse due to the high amount of meetings that stop them from doing the work you hired them to do. This point is really critical. If you want to succeed working remotely, you have to be ultra respectful of other people's time. Never set meetings without indicating the objective of the meeting. You must indicate why are you taking time from them and what the role in the meeting is. Quick question for you. Do you want to take your leadership game to the next level? If yes, check out my program in the video's description. The fourth strategy is intentional and genuine time to get to know your people. For this point to be effective, you must genuinely want to get to know the people who are working for you. This is not an item to check off from a list. To increase productivity, loyalty, fulfillment, and retention, you must create healthy relationships with your employees, knowing their goals, career aspirations, family dynamics, hobbies, and personalities. You don't have to ask them all right away, but create the right moments to get to know more about them. It could be a quarterly virtual 25-minute coffee you enjoy with each of your employees. No distractions allowed, where you can really listen and share with them. Get to know them during your different interactions, from project status and career development conversations to staff meetings. You will get to know them and understand more about their opportunities and strengths with time. You want to create with them a plan for them to see all the growth they can achieve in your company. Revisit the plan every quarter. Despite them being the owners of the growth, you are the one who can share new possibilities based on what you see in them and what you know is happening in the company, and show them you are supporting that journey. That validation, that support, and that nurturing will create loyalty, retention, and joy for your people. This is easy. Happy employees, high productivity, and high profit. Also, subscribe to this channel to become the best version of leader you can be by learning together about leadership strategies. The fifth strategy is to have goals, trackers, and measurements. Ensure you have well-defined goals with the respective measurements required for each of them. Indicate the conditions for the goals to be considered as met. For example, the deadline, the level of measurable quality, and probably risk mitigation solutions in place. These objectives must be documented, and both of you, employee and manager, must agree on them. Then, follow up on the progression of those goals weekly. And this does not mean having weekly meetings. You can leverage technology so they update the status in the format you like online. You can be on top of the operation and intervene as needed without having tons of meetings. If you don't track the progress of the goals, they may get busy with other stuff. Your main job as a remote leader is to create the systems that allow you to keep a healthy operation despite the different time zones and locations. The moment I forget to check my team's progress, the chances of them focusing on other requests increase. Trust me, it has happened to me before more than once. The final strategy is open door policy. Saying to your team you are always available for them may be a disservice to your mental health and business, but if you have the right people in place and the systems that allow you to truly be a leader and not another executor, you should be able to have the availability to support your team as needed. You are no longer an individual contributor. You are now a leader. And your job is now to support your team so they can move the operation forward. Of course, more time than we wish, we have to roll up our sleeves and work in the trenches with them. But we need to have communication systems in place to guide our teams constantly, from one-on-ones to trackers to instant messaging. Make sure your team knows they can count on you. The main lesson from me to you, with a lot of love, is embrace this new amazing era. From non-simultaneous communication methods to highly intentional and well-planned communication strategies. Understand the cons of working remotely, like the lack of casual conversation and bonding, to mitigate them with intentional spaces to let the conversation flow, and know and enjoy the pros, like the flexibility offered that will contribute to your employees' joy if you manage their time properly and reduce meetings. We are blessed to live in these amazing times where we can offer value to the world without attaching ourselves to a physical location. We can do more by cutting time from commuting and getting ready. Do you know what that means? More freedom to do what we love, to enjoy our families, friends, and ourselves. I remember how much I resented having to work to have access to basic needs a few years ago. Now, I love my work because the transaction seems fair. I no longer have to waste 3 hours a day commuting to provide value. Now, I can lead, I can strategize, I can resolve, I can create, I can ideate from my home, allowing my well-being and goals to become the center of my life, not my job. Drop in the comments your strategies and questions to discuss more about this very interesting topic. Bye. See you.